Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, guys. Uh, in this module 11, we're going to look at automation and scripting, and we just have 4 subsections that we're going to focus on. So, I I believe that we're following along us. So, we've just started like 1 month ago, and we have 15 modules now. We're heading to module 11, so which means that we're about to end our modules and start focusing on other subtopics. So in module 11, we're going to look at web scraping with BeautifulSoup and Scrapy. We're going to look at how to automate sending emails and file handling. We're also going to look at how we can work with APIs using request module. And finally, we're going to see how we can automate Excel with OpenPyXL library. So allow me to move to VS Code and we proceed with pragmatic section. So this comprehensive module covers web scraping with BeautifulSoup and Scrapy. It will also entail automation of email sending and file handling. We're also going to look at working with APIs using request module, and we're also going to automate Excel with OpenPyXL library. And each section includes detailed explanations, practical examples, and implementation guidance. And number one, we're going to start with web scraping. So what is web scraping? Web scraping is the process of extracting data from websites. Python offers 2 main approaches, and number one is BeautifulSoup for simpler scraping tasks, and Scrapy for larger, more complex projects. And starting with BeautifulSoup, BeautifulSoup is a library for parsing HTML and XML documents, and it's based for small to medium scraping tasks. On installation, we have to use pip install BeautifulSoup and request in one line without commas. So let us create our function, BeautifulSoup function, to execute our program. So we need also to import some libraries that we just installed, request, which will be intended for downloading web pages. From BS4, we need to import BeautifulSoup. This will be used for analyzing HTML content. And step 1, we can proceed by downloading a web page. And we can choose which website to look at, and Python's official documentation, so will be our official page. So URL will be equal to https://doc.python.org/3/. So we want to download the page like when you save a web page in your browser. So response will be our object which will take on the request.get the URL that we've already defined. And now we need to prepare the page for analysis, like opening a book to read. So soap is equals to BeautifulSoup, and we'll take response.txt and html.parser as 2 arguments. And now step 2, after downloading the web page, we move to showing the page title. So remember, every web page has a title, like a book title, and you can print using f-string title colon soap.title.text.strip function. So remember, strip function removes extra trailing spaces. So after step 2, we move on to step 3, which entails finding all navigation links, or sometimes we call anchor tags. So we can print navigation links, and we provide this. Will look for the navigation section, like a book's table of contents. So nav is equal to soap.find div class related colon related, and let us now check if we found the navigation section. And if nav, so this means that we want to find all links in the navigation, and links will be equal to nav.find underscore all, and we pass on a for anchor tags. And if links, so this one we want to print each links text and where it goes. So for link in links, label is equals to link.text.strip. So this is the visible link text, and href will be equal to link.get href comma empty space. This means that the hidden web address will also be obtained. And then remember, we only need to show if there is something to display. And now if label or href, then we need to print using f-string label colon href, else we need to print no navigation links found in this section, else we need to print couldn't find the navigation section on this page. And step 4 is we find all the important headings. Remember, in HTML there is 6 headings, H1 up to H6. So let us print section headings. So let us look for the main content area, like the chapters of a book. So main underscore content is equal to soap.find and div and the dictionary of role to main, and this we will use this to avoid showing duplicate headings. So scene will be equal to set. So remember, set does not allow duplicates, so it is a specialist that only keeps the unique items. And if main underscore content, then we need to find all big headings, that is H1, H2, H3, are like chapter titles, sections, and subsections. So for heading in main underscore content dot find underscore all, and we pass on a list of H1, H2, and H3. Then text will be equal to headings dot text dot strip, and this means that we want to clean up the heading text by removing the trailing spaces. So only show if it is not empty. and we haven't seen it before. So if text and text not in scene, then scene.add text. So remember, we've seen this one, and therefore we need to add it. So we need to print heading.name to colon text, and this one will show the heading type like h1, h2, h3, and the text. Else we need to print that couldn't find the main content area. Now let's run our function to see if it works. BeautifulSoup underscore example, and we run. So remember, I always work with different code editors. So in this section, I'm working with the two code editors, Notebook and VS Code. I usually prefer Notebook when typing codes, but I prefer running codes using VS Code, because when I type with Notebook, it gives me larger area to display large chunks of code, like in VS Code where sometimes there is a lot of files, so that clouds some visibilities. And therefore, let me move this code to VS Code and we run it. Now I'm on VS Code. Let me run my codes. Py module11.py, and I hit enter. So we have our results. You realize that after running py module11.py, you realize that the title of our content is 3.13.3 documentation, and navigation links were genindex.html, and modules include py modindex.html and Python https://www.python.org/, and headings we only have heading 1 Python 3.13.3 documentation. So if I navigate through this link, let us compare what we've just used here. Let me go to our link. This is our link, so I can copy this link and move it to use this browser. So let me paste here the link. Yes, this is our link. So we realize that Python 3.13.3 documentation is here. This one, let me expand my terminal. This one, you can see this one as the h1 header element. So it's here already. This one. Guys, let us look at Scrapy as our next project. So Scrapy is a powerful framework for web scraping, and it's ideal for large-scale scraping projects with built-in features for 1. Handling requests, and 2. Processing data, and 3. Exporting results, among others. So on installation, we need to use pip install Scrapy, and this means we need to run this in your terminal. Please run this in your terminal if you have not installed it to get the Scrapy package. So let us have a step-by-step web scraping with Scrapy. So we will scrap https://course.topscrap.com. This is a safe practice website for learning web scraping, and you can think of Scrapy like a robot that does number one, it visits website for you, finds specific information on your behalf, and saves it neatly for you. Number one, now we start by first we need to set up your project or our project. So we need to run this in terminal. So we need to open your terminal. Your terminal can be command prompt, PowerShell on Windows, terminal on Mac, among other terminals. So you can install pip. Others can use pip3, others can use pip depending on your machine. So install Scrapy. This one will install the Scrapy toolbox. Scrapy project. We can Scrapy start project, and we say my project. So this will create a new Scrapy project folder, and we need to cd to that project. So don't worry, we're going to do this. So this is just a demonstration, and this moves you into that folder called my project. Now Scrapy gen spider quotes.topscrape.com. So this will create a spider file, and this creates important files like this is the summary of what our project looks like. So under my project we have spiders folder, and under that spider folder we have course.py, and we will edit this your code after some time. So other files will follow. So where the Scrapy will create other files, you don't need to touch it. So those files will be created automatically. So number two, we need now a spider code. So under my project and spiders, and then under spider you have course.py. We need now to replace the quotes.py file contents with the following codes. We need to import Scrapy, which we need to use Scrapy's inbuilt tools. So we need to create our class quote spider and Scrapy.spider as our argument. And remember that every spider needs a name, like quote robot, and name is equals to quotes. So where the spider starts crawling, like giving it a starting point, and start URL is equal to https://course.topscrap.com, and you can define a pass with self and response parameters, and this simply the spider automatically calls this when it visits a page, and the response object can be the web page it has downloaded. So we can find all the quote boxes on the page, like highlighting similar items. So for quote in response.css div.quote, so this simply means that you want to extract and save information from each quote box. And you can say yield, which will create a dictionary of items. Yield simply means we need to save this piece of data. And remember, on your topic for advanced Python concept, you need to learn something about yield. If you've not watched, please go and watch module 7. So text will be quotes.css span text text.get. So it will get the quoted text, and you can get the author from those text. So who said it? Again, you can also have the tags quotes.css and person div.tags a tag dot get all. So we get all the categories of tags. And now we can find the next item, so button link if it exists. And next page now we will have the response.css, and we take the values as li.next a at href.get. and if next page, then we need to tell the spider to visit the next page and repeat the crawling process. So again, yield response.follow next page with self.pass. And CSS, let us have some CSS selector explanation that we've just wrote above. So div.quote, this simply means that we find a division class named quote into the boxes, and span.text text, this one gets the text inside a span class, and small.author, it finds the author name in a small class with author, and a.tag text, this one gets text from all a tags with class tag, and at href, this one gets the link address href from a tag. And number 3, now after doing all the above code, now we need to run your spider in the terminal command, and go back to your now terminal and make sure you are in the my project folder, and you need to run scrapy crowd quotes hyphen or quotes.json. So this means scrapy crowd quote means we run the spider name named quotes and hyphen or quotes.json. This means that we want to save everything as a JSON file, like a digital notebook. And now you will see the spider working in the terminal, and then find a new quote.json file with all your scrapped quotes. And some troubleshooting before we run the codes. Tips for beginners include, so if you are a beginner, this is for you. So if for example, if you get the errors, so this is what suggestion. Did you run pip install Scrapy first? Make sure first of all you install Scrapy. Are you in the correct folder? Sometimes if you are not in the correct folder, your program will crash. So number 2, the website might look different than expected. So you need to right click and inspect in your browser to see the real HTML structure, and you need to update the CSS selector if needed. Number 3, if you want to scrap a different site, then you can change the startup URL and the CSS selectors. Again, you can always check the site's robots.txt first, e.g. site.com/robots.txt, among others. And the scrapped data summary will be as follows. The collected quotes will include authors, for example, Marilyn Monroe, Albert Einstein, Eleanor Roosevelt, Thomas A. Edison, J.K. Rowling, Bob Mali, Frederick, Nietzsche, Dr. Shields. We have Douglas Adams, Eli Wills, and James Baldwin, Martin Luther King Jr., Jane Austen, and common tags will include inspirational, life, love, friends, humor, courage, fantasy, philosophy, simplicity, marriage, fear, among others. And quote count will be, the log shows that the quotes were scrapped from at least pages 1 to page 6 with multiple quotes per page, so and typically around 10 per page, suggesting that about 60 quotes total per page. So it's time to run our program now step by step. We need to start from here. Now we need to move to our VS Code and do step by step. So the first step is to open. So it's not mandatory to open the terminal, but because we have so many process, you can do this. So let me open a VS Code. So inside the VS Code, let me just open a new project. Let me open a new folder, and I can create a folder, and I can say this is my Scrapy project, and I can open it. Yes, I'm opened it. So let me open my terminal to install the dependencies. Remember guys, it's good to create virtual environment before proceeding. So let me create my virtual environment. Now I can activate my virtual environment. The next step is to install the Scrapy library. So pip install Scrapy. So I'll just copy paste because we've typed this to rush up our process, but though it's not a good idea to copy paste every time. Next is to create a Scrapy project. Guys, after that installation, we can now start our project, Scrapy project. So let me use a comma, or sorry, a full stop, to make sure that we don't create another subfolder called my project. And you realize that a new folder has been created called Scrapy. My project, with some folders by default. You can see spiders. So my project has these items, and we can move to the next section now. So we need to cd to our project now. Yes, to change directory to our project. Now let us cd to our project. Yes, now the current directory is that we are in my project. So next is to run this line of code. So remember, I'm just copy pasting because we've run this before. So it's just our guideline. So this is what we do here. On my terminal, I just need to copy paste. Okay, I hit enter. Yes, realize that a lot of files have been populated over here. Let me just try to expand. Remember, when I run Scrapy, Gen Spider quotes dot top scrape dot com scrapy, gen spider, course.topscript.com. This is what I found out. All this information that our code has generated. Now the next stage is remember we said after running this, so this project will be created. So and we'll be interested with course.py. So inside the course.py under spiders folder, we need to replace with these quotes, with these codes. So I just copy and paste here. Now guys, we need to navigate to my project spiders folder and quotes.py and replace with this type of codes. So let me copy and navigate to my project under spider. I need to click on spider and quotes, then I replace with this quote. Then the next stage is to now run this command of which we had already explained. So we run here, and if I run, I hit enter, it will take some time because a lot of information is being scrapped over online. You can see everything, information is still getting generated. So give it some time as it continues to scrap through the internet. So it's now complete. Let me close my navigation bar. So this is what you can see, that all this information is generated. All this information is generated, has been generated right away. So, and I've just given you some summary of what all this is all about. And remember, some of the tags like the change, some of the authors, like we said before, Albert Einstein's here. We have tags like change, deep thought, thinking, world, and we have sentences like it is our choices, hurry, that shows that we are truly are far more than our abilities, and the author was JK, for example. We have also Rowling, and his tags were like abilities and choices. So there's a lot here we can learn from this. So there's a lot you can do with this by continuing to do data analysis. So I hope that you are going to do more research over the same. Guys, in section 2 on automation, we're going to look at how to automate sending emails and file handling. So we'll start with emails. And remember, we want to do email automation in the following section. So remember, Python can automate email sending using SMTP, and the common use cases include sending notifications, email reports, and marketing campaigns. So let us create our code here. We try, which means we want to catch if error will occur. We need to import SMTP, and from email.mime.text we need to import mime text, and from email.mime.multiparty we need to import mime multiparty, and we need to import OS for file handling and other OS operations. We need now to retrieve password from environment variable. So though I did not use on environment variable, I just used it manually. But remember to use your own password, not your email provider's password. So I will help you how to get this. So, and let us configure the sending email. So the sender will be your email at email.com. The receiver will be receiver email. Please insert the meaningful email, because I'll demonstrate this, but I will hide my credentials, though I will show you the result at the end. So message will be from, and the sender will assume that, and to the receiver will assume that, and you can create the subject as automated by Python email. So body can be h1 and say automated email, and this email was sent automatically using Python as the body, for example, and the message dot attach mime text body with HTML, and we can now create the sent email function. So with smtip.gmail.com 587 as server. So server.start tills, which means we need a secure connection, and server.login center with the password. And now server.send message, and you pass on the message argument. Now we need to print if the email was sent successfully. Email sent successfully, except if the email failed, then we need to show the error message the sender as error. So let me copy these codes. First, before I copy this code, let me show you how you can create your own password. Your application password are not the email provider's password. Go to your browser and use type app passwords and hit enter. So it will depend with your internet strength, and in fact it's here. Then you click here, sign in with your Google app password. So you need to authenticate before proceeding. So for mine, we just click here, app name. For example, you can say a description of what you want to do, like here, Python email script. So you just click here, and then you click create. If you click create, it will be generated. For example, it says generating app password. So that's the password that you wanna use. So from my side, my app has been generated, and now let me copy these codes to use it in the VS Code. Now guys, I have configured my password, and now I'm ready to run the script by sendmail.py, and if I hit enter, it will take some time depending on the email string. Can you see what you see from my terminal? The email was sent successfully. Voila! So give me some second. I want to confirm from my email and show you what happened. Now guys, from my sendbox, you can see the email. The message says automated email. This email was sent by this email was sent automatically using Python, and it was sent at this time 3 minutes ago. So this is what you can do with Python. Now guys, next section we are going to look at file handling as our automation next subsection. So Python can automate file operations using OS library, which is the basic file operation. And remember, OS is inbuilt, and shuttle for advanced file operations. We can also use glob for file pattern matching, and we can have the following codes: import OS, import shuttle, and import globe. And we can have our file operation function, and we try to make sure that we don't fall short of errors. And we create the directory os.make dars and data underscore files, comma exist underscore k equal to true, and we need to print directory of the data files that was created if we already exist. And now what follows is that we want to create the sample files for I in range 3. We need a file name object as data file, and which will be stored all as text file with the extension of txt. So with the open file name, we need to open it in write mode as f. So f.write sample content I. So we need to print now the file was created and the file name now, and we can now copy files with the patterns. So for file in globe.globe data files /.txt extension, we need some backup file is equals to data underscore files /backup os.path.base name, and we pass the file as argument. So, and use the shuttle function to copy the file, and on the backup file you can print the copied file as file to backup file. And now we can list all those files. So we can print files in directory, and now we use for loop for item in os.listDar. We will now print the data files. Now print item. So except exception as e, which means we print the error back to the user. So we print an error occurred. So now we need to run the function to execute our operations as file underscore operation, and we print the absolute path is os.path.absolute path and data files. I prefer typing codes in notebook because it gives me a huge interface to display my codes, so and easier to track them than in VS Code. Sometimes or oftentimes it has a small interface for typing codes. So file handling, let me copy here. So let me paste, and now let me run our program, and you can say file handling .py and hit enter. So you realize that the absolute path of this file is from Python YouTube content /data file. So we have this directory or a folder called data file that contains all these files named as backup underscore backup file.txt all the way to file underscore 2.txt. So if I open my Explorer here from VS Code, I can see the directory called, let me check the directory called data files. Yeah, here it's here, this one. All these files have been saved here. So this is how we can automate file creation using Python. Hi guys, after file handling, we're now moving to part 3, which is working with APIs. Remember, APIs simply stands for applications programming interfaces, and they allow programs to interact with web services. And the request library is the standard for making hyper text transfer protocol request in Python. And we need to look at installation process, so we need to use pip install request. You can use pip3 if you're on Linux or maybe on Mac, and you can import requests and you can define our API function like API example. So we need to get the request example. You can print get the request, and response will be request.get https slash, for example, we want to a GitHub repo, and if response.status code is 200, which means that it's okay, which means you get the result, then you need to print a response.json. So we print the JSON response from the GitHub API. Remember, JSON simply means the JavaScript object notation, and objects are represented just like a dictionary represents objects, value key pairs. So we need to print error response.status code if we don't get the result, and we can now post the request example. Now we print post request is the data is being mapped to name, for example Ken, and email, for example Ken at example.com. So remember, try to use your details and try check if you get the response. So this is your exercise just to insert your customized details, but I tried from my side, it was working, so I just need you to be also to try and see, because the codes are just okay. And else we need to print at error occurred response.status code with the error, and we can now check at handling authentication. So we need to print authenticated request as. So we use a real API with authentication, and we need to replace the username and the password with actual credentials. So remember to replace with yours. So for example, auth is equals to your username, use your username and use your password. And remember to use them securely, because people might find hack your details, and you need to replace the actual credentials. So response will be request.get https://api.example.com/data. For example, if you want to fetch the World Bank data, for example, you can do such. And if response.status code is equal to 200, then you need to print response.json. This means that you need to print the response from the server or from the authenticated request. Else, if it failed, we need to print exact error. So response.status code, and now we can do what? We can run our function API_function. Yes guys, try please to replace your credentials and run. The codes are okay. I tried with my side, they were working. So I just want you to try from your side. Guys, we're moving on to part 4, automating Excel with OpenPyXL. And in this video, we're going to look at OpenPyXL. And this allows reading, writing, and modifying Excel files with .xlx extension. And they're useful for data reporting, data processing, data automation or automating spreadsheet tasks, and we need to look at installation, and we need to use pip install, OpenPyXL, and tabulate libraries. Or you can use, sometimes you get if you get an error, you use this version. You install directly to your virtual environment, and we can create our Excel function, our Excel automation function. So, and we need to import from OpenPyXL. We need to import workbook and load underscore workbook function. So we need also to import OS, and the OS module will be able to work with the file path. And now again we need to create a new workbook as follows. So WB is equal to workbook function, and WS will be the active workbook, so workbook.active, and WS.title will be employees, and you can add the data. So headers will be name, for example, department, salary, among others, and data, for example, will be Harry is an engineer, is in an engineering department and earns 85,000, for example, dollars in per year. Mary is in marketing department and earns 25,000 per year. Henry is in HR and earns 65,000 USDs per year. And active workbook.append headers. So for row in data, wws.append row. So again we need to define the file name and get the absolute path. Remember, we have absolute path and the we have absolute path and okay, let me leave there. So the absolute path will be os.path.file name, and you can save the file at wb.save, and the person the file name argument. You can print the file location to be sure of what we are doing. So we print Excel file was created at, so, and we provide the absolute path, and print you can access it at print. For example, on Windows, absolute path. So you have absolute path and relative path. Most absolute paths are in several folders, but relative path in the same working directory. So you print contents of the Excel file are contained in the following. WB is equal to load underscore workbook and person file name, and the active workbook will be workbook.active. And now for row, the workbook or active workbook.iter underscore rows with person values underscore only is equal to true. And now we print the rows, and we can now run the file, which will automate all the processes. So running our script file handling .py, and voila, we have this contents of the Excel file were name, department, salary. Under name we have Harry, Mary, and Henry. Wow, it's awesome. Everything ends with RY. Harry, Mary, Henry. And department, engineering, marketing, HR. Salary 85,000 USD, 75,000 USD, 65,000 USD. And you say that the files were saved on this directory, YouTube Python -YouTube content /employees list. So if I navigate to my Explorer here, and you can find the employees are already here. Can you see this employees.xlx file that we created? Awesome. Now guys, you can manipulate this Excel file even further. So let us add some additional manipulation. Let us import pandas as PD, and now we can define our preview. We want to preview our Excel file, so preview Excel and file path, and we can read now Excel file. So df or our data frame is equal to pd dot read underscore Excel and file path as our argument. So we need to display the first 5 rows in the terminal. So we print Excel preview as print df.head, and again we can alternatively display full data as a markdown table using the tabulate library. So from tabulate we need to import tabulate. So we print the formatted table is as follows. So we print the tabulate df comma headers is equal to this, and table format will be like PostgreSQL, and showing index will be false. And we can use as preview Excel, and we pass on the Excel employees.xlx. Let me now run a program and see what is happening here. So by file handling viewer, and I hit enter. So it will take some time to load. You realize that still loading, so give it some time. Yes, you realize this is the formatted Excel file that it's has been printed, and this is the summary of the first 5 rows. So our rows were less than 5, so everything was displayed. So and this is the formatted table. Just look how fun it is. And now it is in a table format using the tabulate library. Now guys, let us move to the last section. Guys, time to wrap up the module. This is the module summary. So some key takeaways from this module is that 1, we looked at web scraping using BeautifulSoup, which we use symbolic HTML and XML parsing. We also use Scrapy for full featured framework for large projects. And number 2, we looked at email and file automation. So we used SMTplib that used to send the email programmatically, and OS/shuttle libraries to automate file operation. We also looked at API interaction, that is a request module that make HTTP request using get and post method. We also looked at how to handle JSON with response easily, and also looked at Excel automation using OpenPyXL, like read, write Excel files, reading and writing of Excel files. Also created some reports and processes of spreadsheets data. And now the following are the practical application that you can do more research about data collection pipelines, automated reporting system. We have business process automation, and we have integration with web services. So guys, I wish you all the best, and please subscribe to our channel. I realized that over 70% of our viewers have not subscribed to our channel. Please give us a thumbs up button, and share our videos as well as you subscribe for more meaningful content like this. Thank you.